Welcome to the Business Spotlight series. I am Eduardo Resendiz, also known around here as Coach Ever. I am a certified executive and business coach with Action Coach in Northwest Louisiana. And I have today Dave Rambaran with DRGeoES, which is an engineering company, as my guest. Today, we're going to be talking about his business, the journey to the business ownership, challenges, best practices, maybe take a look under the hood of what it really is like to run and operate a business. And so if this is your first time on the channel, please be sure to subscribe so that you can get notifications when we have conversations like these released in our channel. So Dave, welcome and thank you for being here today.
Thank you. I'm really looking forward to this.
So Dave, would you share with us a little overview of your background and tell us a little bit about the business?
Yeah, I'm Dave Rambaran. I'm the father of two sons. They're grown up now. They're 17, 18. I've got a beautiful fiance. She helps me in this business too. I started this business back in 2011. I've been practicing in engineering since 1995. I've been in construction since 1985, and my whole life I've just wanted to build. So this is what I do. I study dirt. I tell people how to build the best foundation for their buildings. We inspect concrete, soil, steel, building construction. We really enjoy doing what we do. It's exciting, it's interesting, and it helps you think. So it keeps you young.
Very good, Dave. So set the stage for the viewers and the listeners. What does the current ownership of the business look like? I mean, are you the sole owner? Do you have any partners in it? Are there investors in it?
I'm the sole proprietor of the business. I don't have any partners. I'm in the process of writing it so I can have at least 1% for each one of my kids, mainly because of it'll help to transition to someone if I'm not here.
Very good. And so, what's your role in the business right now?
Right now, I'm the principal. I'm also the owner, the president, and I'm also the senior geotechnical engineer of record for the business.
All right. And so, when you look at your role, how much of your time, percentage-wise, do you occupy in the you have to do things to produce, right? The day-to-day operations of the business. How much is invested in this is where we're going, the strategy part of the business, like in the business versus on the business?
Well, right now, like most business in this COVID, the after COVID scenario, I'm 100%. This has to get done. So I'm at maybe 10, 15, maybe 10 or 15. This is the direction we're going in. This is how we're gonna get to that direction. So it's very small, which I should be looking at 80 to 90%, but because of our situation, that's what we have right now.
Well, like a lot of businesses after COVID, um, and businesses that require specific skill sets, like educated people or highly technical, the competition for talent is very tough, isn't it?
It is extremely, extremely. Um, Kids getting out of college with no experience, expecting to make as much as a seasoned engineer is hard to believe. And then on top of that, um, they don't know the job. You hire them and you tell them this is what you have to do to. We play with dirt. We love playing with dirt. That's how you learn how to play with dirt. Is that teaches you about it. If someone works for you, they have to love playing with dirt too.
Right. So it's getting dirty, right?
It's getting dirty.
All right. Well, let's move on to what makes your business so special, Dave. Who primarily does your business serve? If I was in the audience, how will I know that I was a good fit for what you offer?
Well, what I see in my business that makes us special to our client is longevity. We've known these clients for a long time. We've served them. They can call me, I can call them. we know each other. So we make it our business to call and inform our client, this is what's going on, this is what you're looking at. So before we get down the road and pass, they've already been informed, and we already know what is the road we need to take so we can make this to what the client wants. So it's all about getting the client what they need with the information we have. So we try to give them as much information and steer them in the direction they want to go and how we get there. So that's kind of, it's not just us going and providing a service of testing or engineering. We also want to be part of the design of the conceptual. So that's a lot more of where we're heading to right now.
Very good. And so it is like an industry standard now, or how do you compare to your competitors?
I mean, we're small compared to a lot of my competitors. So we compare mainly because we're willing to sit down and advise on a design build project. For example, at Box Hill Air Force Base, we're willing to sit down and advise or be with the client to provide the services, not just for the job, but also for their client, which is the Navy. So we're willing to be there. So we're not only serving the client, but also the Navy, which the Navy is looking to us to give them what they want, not just our client, which is the contractor. So those projects are based on accepted specifications that's already written up. So we have to provide those services based on that. So the Navy gets what they want. The contractor is able to provide what the Navy wants, but stay within what's required, not above or below.
So it's really being very transparent and willing to really start relationships with people. That's very good,
Yeah.
Dave. So keeping close communication, right? And you know, I know that you mentioned these before to me, since we've known each other for some time. It's you being very um honest about what you tell your customers. If it's gonna work, it's gonna work. If it's not gonna work, it's not gonna work. You know, just
Yeah.
being real with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, what is one thing that you wish more people knew about your business? Like, you know, if I'm a contractor or I'm an architect or I'm, a structural engineer, why, what will I need to know about you?
Um, we're not just located in Shreveport, located in Texas. We're licensed for Texas, Arkansas, Florida. I've practiced personally in Florida, Alabama, the Carolinas, Tennessee, Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas, um, Oklahoma, Arkansas. These are all places that I've worked. And I've got a vast knowledge of what works in different areas. So a good example is I'm doing a job in Northwest Louisiana right now for a client. The guy who did the initial geotechnical investigation is from New Orleans. So he gave recommendations that you would do in New Orleans, but this is Northwest Louisiana. It's a totally different scenario than being underwater all the time. Up here, it's dry. If it gets too dry, then the soil dries out. If it gets too wet, the soil swells. So you have to take that into, he did not take that into consideration. And his recommendations are not geared towards what's in North Louisiana. So me speaking with him and telling him, hey, this is what we need to look at, and him not willing to understand, and him saying, well, you know, this is what I want. I have to step back and say, okay, I'm not taking your liability, so you need to come up with your own recommendation. We'll do whatever you want, but I've given you my professional advice and my experience in the area. After that, you know, for me to limit my liability, I have to step back and you deal with the client. The client's been informed. I told them, I told the engineer, everybody's informed of exactly what's going on. So it's out of my hands, and I do not want to take any more liability than I need to. So those are things that you have to keep in mind is in a business, liability. You can give all your advice you want, but you cannot take on somebody else's liability.
Very good, Dave. And so, you know, this question also leads me to marketing, which is something that is vital to every business out there. And it's often an area that most business owners struggle with. Okay, so I'm always curious, um, what businesses that are actually getting success do. Um, do you have a marketing strategy or a marketing plan? How do you go about making new connections for the work that you acquire?
I try to find locations that I want to be in, and I try to get plugged in into local entities. Like in Shreveport, the Chamber of Commerce is good. It's not the best, but the engineering societies, the architectural societies, those are the ones that get me connected. Um, you want to find who the local developers are. You want to gear yourself or align yourself with good contractors, especially my business, good quality contractors. You don't want a contractor that's going to put you in a problem. You want someone that will take your advice and do what's best for the project. I mean, it may mean more money for for the client. He may have to pay more, but they're informed. They're willing to take the risk, or they're not willing to take the risk. But if they're informed and they know what the risk is, they know what the cost is, then everybody is above board. So those are things that we want to do in marketing. You want everybody to know, hey, upfront, this is transparent. But also, in doing that, the next project, they're gonna call you and say, hey, we knew that this was going on and this may have cost more, but we knew you were giving us the best that we can get. And you gave us the opportunity to make the decision, not live with a decision. So those are things that you want in basic marketing. The other thing is, if there's a market, like right now we're in Dallas, it's a really big market and it's a relationship market. So it takes a while to build those markets. So you have to be involved with the Hispanic Contractors Association. You got to be involved with different cities. You've got to attend as much engineering and conferences as you can, and then you have to make alignments with people. And sometimes the alignments is the most simplest you can get. Which, for me, the simplest is residential construction, which is simple, it's cheap, it's a little more liable, but it's the easiest to align with because they need more of my service. So I mean that's sometimes starting small might be the best way to go than trying to hit the big ones. So that's what I'm finding with some of the markets is you gotta know where you need to align so you can start progressing.
It sounds to me like there's a networking that you need to put in place, creating that net of connections, right? That will help you find the
Yes.
opportunities that are suitable for you. And absolutely, you go into a new market, you got to go for the low hanging fruit, right? The things that may not be as profitable, but the stuff that can actually get you some traction. So very good, very good. And so we spent some time focused on the business and sharing some of these ideas. I'd love to take a step back and dive a little bit more into your journey, if it's okay. So Dave, you said that you've been in construction since 1995, right? You started these in 1995, the engineering part of it, right? Your experience with engineering. But it was 2011 when you decided to go in business for yourself. So um, tell me, how did you come to that transition? What led you to taking that leap?
Um, when I moved to Shreveport, Louisiana in 2004, I was hoping by about 2008, I would open my own company. And it mainly because Shreveport is at crossroads. It's easy to get to a lot of places from Shreveport, and it was growing. So it's a good place. It's not the best, but it's a good place to start a company. So I'm actually about maybe 3 or 4 years, late on starting my own company. But that was the goal. The reason I started in 2011, there was a lot of personal issues that I went through. And then the best scenario for me to get the time I needed to do my personal stuff that I needed to get done was to have my own company. It meant a really big pay cut. I mean, an extremely serious pay cut. But to me, it was the best way to get my dream to come true, which is have my own company. It could be any company. I mean, construction, engineering was, either one would have been fine with me, but engineering was I was good at it and I enjoyed. So I mean, it seemed like the best.
You already had the idea from a long time ago that you wanted to have something of your own, right?
Yes.
It was important for you to, to create that. And so, yeah, it may have taken you a few years more when you planned originally to do it. That's where you wanted to, that's where your mindset was. And so, you went from, having a secure job with, a certain salary to really out there into the cold, trying to make your
Yeah.
own, right? What was that transition like for you?
Um, Prior to starting, I had one core client, which you guys, the former owner of PPT, he is the one that he said, Dave, if you go in business, I'll give you all my work. So I did, and he did. So that was my core client. So that was enough to feed me, not enough to replace my previous salary, but enough to feed me to keep going to build. So when you look at, you don't want, and you don't need, yes, you want, but you do not need to replace what you have, because obviously, if you go in business, starting off, it's not going to be easy. You're looking at a year, 2 years, no salary, the minimal. So that's what you have to do. But if you have a core client, then you don't have to go through all of that. You still have to struggle, but something's coming in no matter what. So that is a basic. A core client creates a net for you that nothing else can. I mean, that you borrowing any amount of money is not, for a business, is wrong. Having the service to create the money, that's what you.
Very good, Dave. And so, looking at your journey so far, right? What has been the most memorable roadblock or hurdle, the obstacle that you were challenged with, that you needed and you were forced to overcome?
To start my own business, just the mindset, honestly, mentality. I mean, I had started acquiring equipment, just everything I would need to start this business long before I started. Because it's intellectual. I mean, the business, what we do, engineering consulting, is intellectual. So I had to acquire enough information, enough technology, enough equipment to do what I wanted to do. So that started way before 2011. But when it happened, the biggest hurdle to actually start it was, how am I going to get life insurance? How am I going to get health insurance? What am I going to do? So I was without health insurance for 2 years, but that's what I had. I mean, so I was without it, but thankfully I didn't need it. So that, to me, honestly, out of all the things, that was the most mentally, that seemed to be the worst for me. How do I cover the health insurance? But it happened, and we were able to get health insurance for everyone, and it's the next hardest thing for us is people, keeping people, and training people and finding people. It's extremely critical, but it's so difficult in this day and age. It's just unthinkable for anybody going in business to think that business is going to be easy and you can do it all by yourself. You cannot.
So you have to come to the point where you have to work through people, but then the biggest challenge lately has been to find the right kind of talent um, that you can develop, right? That can
Yes.
actually become essential for your organization. Okay, and so you've gone through all these, and I'm sure that some of these challenges remain. But let's take a look at the future of your company. Where do you see it in the next 3 to 5 years? What's coming up for you?
Um, I'm honestly, I'm seeing that we have to grow. I'm seeing that we have to acquire more people and just diversify into more engineering, more inspections, and kind of, honestly, I think one of the things that I'm seeing right now for us is we're doing more of the inspections, more of, educating our clients as to what needs to happen. how we should do this. So it's that service, it's not something we've looked at, but it looks like we really need to look at it. That needs to be something that somehow we need to package it and sell it.
It certainly is an opportunity, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right. And so, what's your approach to goal setting? I mean, how many goals do you set at a time? Do you set any goals? Do you document them somewhere?
Um, I've set goals before because of the last couple of years, and the goals have kind of been on the back burner, trying to figure out how I need to get from 100%. I have to cover this now. This needs to get done. I've got to get away from that, from the 100%. It needs to become more like 50%. But it's
But then the
somehow,
issue with the people comes to play with it. You need to have the
yes,
people to leverage. All right.
yes. And
Very good.
to plan and build and grow, and you need to spend that 50% of your time doing it. You really cannot spend 100% doing something else. It takes time and effort. I mean, you thinking about it is one thing, but you got to go out there and see it. You got to go out there and try to see how this is going to work, and try it. And if you don't have the time to try it, it's not going to happen.
Right.
So
Absolutely. And so ultimately, the whole point of setting the goals is that you cast out into the future what it is that you want to accomplish and maybe come up with a good plan. But at the end of the day, no plan survives first contact, right? So
yeah,
there's got to be these, you know, performing and then analyzing to make adjustments as you go. And so, yes, you absolutely need to have the bandwidth to be able to deal with that part of it and secure your growth for future. And so, let me move on then to the team. I know you have people that you have been able to maintain for some time. Um, but as you grow, how do you get them to develop? Knowing that that's a difficult part when you're occupied in the business all the time.
the growth part is the best scenario that I have is to promote, not to hire, but to promote. If you hire, you hire lower and then you promote up. So that to me seems to be the best. Hiring up, and then it's just finding those people that you can hire at the top that's actually of similar mindset to you is difficult. I don't want anybody to be me, no, because then I'm just cloning myself. It doesn't help to bring new ideas. But you have to have similar goals. You have to have, okay, how you achieve it is one thing, but the goals, our goals, and what we want to achieve needs to be similar. So that's what I look for. Um, but again, promoting up is the best way. I mean, I would love to see one of my project manager become the branch manager for Shreveport. And I would love to pass that on to them so I can deal with the things I want to deal with.
Right. Very good. Dave. Very good. And so we have certainly covered a lot of ground in this conversation today. And so for those people who are watching, I highly encourage you to save these and come back a few times for an additional watch. There's nuggets here. There's pieces of information that can help people move on from where they are. And I mentioned in previous episodes that the whole point of this is to bring real situations into bear. It's putting a spotlight on what a business is doing, what it looks like, right? How challenging it could be, right? Also the benefits from it. There's a reason that we want to go into business and have more control over what happens in our lives. It's not easy. It can be lonely sometimes. So we got to be able to surround ourselves with the right kind of people. And so as we begin to wrap up, I have a few rapid fire questions, Dave. Top of
But
head answers, okay? I may ask you to elaborate, but they're quick, right? So number one, what is the key to success for you?
uh, being able to step away from my business and let it run with the people I have in place. That's success for my business.
And so, what's one piece of advice you will give to other business owners?
Um, do not do it all. Always pass, pass what you're good at, teach somebody and let them become good at it. They'll never be as good as you but you need to let them have it, let them fail, let them do it.
Very good. Um, what is one book that you're reading now, or that you have read most recently that you will recommend?
A retirement miracle.
All right, you want to elaborate? Why do you like that book?
It teaches me about index universal life, fixed index annuities, retirement, passing on wealth to my children, at no probate, no taxes, no, just whatever you create and you want to keep, you don't want it to disappear when you go. You want it, your kids, you want your loved ones to have it. So, and part of business is you're not in this so you can be happy alone. You're in it to make money. So the money you make, you have to be able to secure it, to pass it on, to use it, which part of that is also learning how to secure your money and use it while you're alive. It's life insurance is for life, it's not for death. The way I look at it is I need to be able to use it for life. So it's a secure way of putting your money away and still being able to use it. So that's one of the things that I'm studying, I'm doing right now that I'm really excited about, and that's my next step.
Very good. So, if you had to choose only one area for your business that you could immediately improve tomorrow, what would that be?
One area to improve in my business,
Yes, only one.
we want. Um, there's quite a few, but the one that seems to be holding me back the most is um manpower, training people. It seems, the improvement that I want to see is getting more quality people. That's got to be the main issue for me.
So, what more quality people, whether they're from within or from without, right?
Yes.
All right.
And honestly, with quality people, the work just shows up. I mean, it's people know that, hey, you're able to do this and they give it to you. It's not a matter of going to search for it. It just happens. I mean, it's just part of the business I'm in. It's they know that you're able to and they give it to you.
All right. So, before we get into the final question of the day, how can older people learn more about you or your company? How can they get in contact with you guys?
Our website is drgeoes.com, and that tells you a little bit about our company. You also can call us 318-780-8292 is my personal number. My office number in Shreveport is 318-671-1760. You can email me. It's my full name, Dave Rambaran, at drgeo and then sciences with an s.com. And we will be happy to talk to you. I always look forward to talking to people. And I mean it's a wonderful time to tell people what we've been doing and some of the hurdles we've had to make. And this is America is a land of taxes. You pay taxes, you die. So again, accounting for everything, having accountants, having bookkeepers, having people keeping up with those things is it's more important than almost anything else. So you can make all the money you want to, but keeping it, you got to keep the taxes. You got to keep the people happy with taxes. So
Very good, Dave. And so, what is most inspiring to you today? Where do you find inspiration these days?
where um uh the most my inspiration is honestly teaching. I really teaching people who want to learn. So that's inspirational. I mean, out of when you get to a level where you have people under you and you've been doing this long, teaching is inspiring because you're passing on your knowledge, but you're also making life better for everybody involved. So no one has to guess. And it's just, it's best you do as much teaching as you can. Just pass it on. Do not keep it. So
Whatever you don't
that's,
pass on dies with you.
yeah. Yeah, you gotta pass it on. So, yeah,
Very
you
good.
have
Well,
to.
thank you so much for joining us today and sharing all these with us. Thank you to you, the audience, for watching and sharing. You never know who you might inspire by listening to this interview. So make it a great day. Until next time.